Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I'm Steve Shaw. In this video, I'm going to talk about training volume, or more specifically, why not all training volume is equal. Before I get into that topic, if you guys have any interest in coaching, it's what I do for a living. Check out the link down below. All right, so I'm doing more of a laid-back video today, laid-back format. I'm in a hotel room in Denver, helping out a friend this weekend, and no fancy edits, no fancy information, no fancy intros. But I want to talk about training volume because this is something, I was taking a few notes on videos that I wanted to make, and I was having a few discussions with some of my clients about training volume, adding training volume. Now, before we get into this, I want to say that, like, when you are building programs, when you are adjusting programs, we tend to equate all training volume as being equal. So this video is meant to help you guys understand how and when you can add volume to a specific area, a specific workout, a specific muscle group, depending on the nature of that lift. So let's dive in. Not all training volume is equal. So in the lifting industry, we tend to have a bunch of, for lack of a better way of saying it, knuckleheads that want to equate all exercises as being equal, like, all train to failure or train close to failure, meaning all exercises are basically lumped into the same boat when it comes to training to failure, like the demands of every exercise are equal. You see this a lot in the world of training to failure, where we have these discussions about training to failure, and they're like black or white. Yes, train all sets to failure. No, don't train any sets to failure. And it completely overshoots the reality that the demands of every exercise are different. And this is important as well when it comes to training volume. So if you want to train squats to failure, it's going to tear you up. It's going to tear up your lower back. You're going to greatly increase your risk of injury, etc. If you want to train your bench press to failure, on the other hand, it's, for the most part, it's not punishing. It's not easy, but there's low risk of injury, low risk of beating up your body, etc. So this is a good example of how not every exercise is equal when it comes to training to failure, and this is important for volume as well. So if you're sitting there and you are asking yourself the question, should I add volume to a workout? Can I add volume to a workout? If you ask this on the internet, if you ask this on a lifting group or on a Facebook group or on a YouTube comment, you're going to have a bunch of, there's going to be a certain percentage of crazed lifters that are just going to leave irrational comments like all volume is equal. All volume is not equal. In the Massive Iron world, I teach you guys how to structure a basic starting point, okay? So a basic starting point, we're going to look at weekly volume. We're going to look at how much volume you're getting in over a weekly basis. This is the framework that you really want to focus on. How much volume am I getting in a 7-day period of time? Using this framework, we don't have to worry about body part splits or full body or upper posterior, push-pull legs, upper lower. It doesn't matter. We want to look at how we're getting in our volume over a weekly basis. This is an important thing. How many sets for chest are you getting in? Sorry about that. How many sets for chest are you getting in a weekly basis? How many sets of biceps are you getting in a weekly basis? So we can kind of frame things safely in that world or that realm. That's a good starting place, a good guideline. How many sets am I getting in per week for each area? So from there, you want to think about how many days a week can I work out, right? How many days am I able to work out? And then you generally can do about 18, you factor in about 18 hard sets per training day. So if you can train 3 days per week, it's going to be about roughly 54 hard sets a week, or 18 per day. That'll keep you in the gym from 70, maybe 75, maybe 80 minutes a training day. 4 days a week, you're going to look at about 72 hard sets. Okay, so in that mix, because we have limited time, right, we're going to look at how much work should I do per body part. And this is a starting point. So if you're doing about 4 workouts per week, and we'll just use this as an example, about 72 hard sets per week, you have room for about 12 hard sets for chest, 12 hard sets for delts, 12 hard sets for back, 12 hard sets for quads. That's 48. That leaves you 24 sets, and then you can get maybe 6 or 8 in for your biceps and triceps, do a little hamstring work, etc. And before you know it, your 72 hard sets are gone. So this is going somewhere, okay? We start with, in this framework, and this is, this can help you evolve your programming. You're starting with this framework where you have about 12 sets for the major body parts and about 6 to 8 for the more minor body parts like biceps and triceps and hamstrings. So can I add volume to that? Okay, that's the question. Now, I told my clients this week, I told a couple of them, they asked, can I add arm work into that? And I said, yes. Yes, you can add arm work in that into that mix if you have time. And the response was, well, if I add in 6 more sets of biceps and 6 more sets of triceps, then I'm doing the same work, the same amount of weekly volume for like my biceps as I am for my back. Does that really make sense? Is that really okay? Is that really smart? And my response was this: not all exercises are created equal. And this is an important point. You can add in more arm work because it's not as intense. The average arm set is generally not as intense as the average barbell row set or deadlift set. They're not equal. Things are not equatable, right? So you can add in extra work, and we're not just talking about arm work here. You can add in extra work, and it might unbalance that starting point that we created for volume, weekly volume for major and minor body parts. You can add in extra work and understand it's okay, because the impact of some of these milder exercises isn't as great as if you're adding in compound movements. If you started with this, basic framework of 4 workouts per week and 18 hard sets per workout, and you all of a sudden wanted to add in, I don't know, more squats. Squats are more impactful. They're going to take more time. It's going to take more energy. It's going to take more of your reserves, right? More of your focus. So you have to think, when you're adding in volume, what type of exercise am I trying to add in? How intense is this exercise? Do I want to add in more deadlift work? Do I want to add in more squat work? Do I want to add in more leg press or hack squat work? You can add this stuff in, but understand the impact. It's going to zap your energy. It's going to zap your time. And it's going to place a lot of extra stress on the body. This isn't to say you can't do it, but understand it's not the same as like adding in 6 extra sets of, say, arm work, 3 extra sets for biceps, 3 extra sets for triceps. If you want to add in 3 extra sets per week of squats and 3 extra sets per week of leg presses, that's going to be more impactful than adding in the same number of sets for arms. So this is something we have to understand when we're adding in volume. There are no rules. You can add in whatever you want to add in, as long as you have the time and energy to do so. But the bottom line is, I want you guys to always remember that volume is not equal, right? Adding in 3 sets of calves or 2 sets of abs is not going to be as impactful as adding in, 3 sets of good mornings, barbell good mornings. So add in what you want to add in. Don't worry about, and here's a big point, don't worry about bringing up the overall volume for these minor body parts to the point where it's almost to the level of a major body part, because the work on that minor body part or area is generally not as intense as what you are working for the bigger area. So let's just look at back real quick. Back, you might do on a weekly basis deadlifts, barbell rows or T-bar rows, dumbbell rows, seated cable rows, lat pull downs, pull-ups, etc. All very intense exercises. If you look at bicep exercise, it might be dumbbell rows, seated incline, curls, easy bar curls. Not easy, but not intense on the same level as your back work. So understand that you need a framework or a starting point. That's what I discussed earlier in this video. 4 days a week, you're starting with about 12 hard sets for your major body parts and 6 to 8 for your minor. You need that starting point because that's balanced. You don't want to start with 6 to 8 sets for back and 12 sets for biceps, right? Because that's a little back asswards or whatever, backwards, right? Ass backwards. That's starting with the wrong focus. You're all about your arms and not working your back or shoulders or whatever. So you start at that level with about 12 weekly sets for the major body parts, 6 to 8 for the minor, and then you can adjust and you can bring up the minor body parts if you want, because they are not generally as impactful from an intensity standpoint. So just understand the rules, understand the starting point, and then you can break the rules or add in volume based on whatever you feel you want to do that week. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great day.